Oh, so well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is another edition of our weekly real estate backstory, where we kind of go over all the comings and goings, everything happening in the real estate world. Hopefully, you're taking it easy today. Today is a national holiday. It is MLK Day, so it is a great time for us to stop and reflect on the amazing achievements, as well as making sure that we're checking ourselves and how we treat each other and how we love on each other. So I think it's very important for us to do
Absolutely.
that. Now, we want to change gears immediately.
My name's Ming Richardson,
Oh,
a
sorry,
compliance broker, Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partner, and this is Alan
Alan Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah, I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty and Realtor Partners. I want to talk about a recent survey that came out from Clever Real Estate. So they went out and they started polling Americans about how much, especially in light of what's happening with all the commission lawsuits and that
Correct.
kind of stuff. And so some of this is pretty surprising, and some of it is like common sense, right? So, the first thing here is, it turns out Americans don't know that much about commissions. They found that 66% of non-homeowners and 42% of sellers believe that buyers bear the burden of their agent's commission. And it's never really been that way. It's always been wrapped up into the transactions kind of thing. Um, so 42% of sellers don't realize that they'll be expected to pay the buyer's agent commission.
I think the expectation is that they don't expect to pay for it, but what they don't realize that when the listing agent make the appointment, their gross commission includes a co-op.
Yeah. But right now the biggest regret among recent sellers is that their commission was too high. Now that surged 40% just in the last year. And so when you put that together with like the last stat on here was, however, when informed that the average real estate commission is around 5.5%, the vast majority said, well, that's fair, that makes sense, kind of thing. So 55% of sellers think agents care about more about making a deal than about their client's best interest. And that's on us, right? That's one where, like if you're an agent and you have commission breath, it shows to your clients, right? You have to make sure that you're putting their best interest forward
And
first.
what that is indication of that the seller is not informed or the buyer. Okay. When the client feels that way, they don't understand the process. They don't understand why these are things are coming up and what have you.
Yeah. About half of home sellers said that avoiding high commissions was very important and a priority when selling their home. And I don't see that surprising. I think whenever you're selling your home, you want to get the most amount possible and you want to spend the least amount possible, right?
Absolutely.
So now 42%, over a third said that they'd be less likely to work with an agent if they're unwilling to negotiate commission. This is one of those where we have to be ready to discuss
Mm-hmm.
commission and negotiate commission with your clients. In the past years, a lot of folks took things for granted. A lot of times folks would just kind of like it was the elephant in the room. And we have to be very upfront. These are the services I provide. These are the fees that I charge. And then will you negotiate that? That's an important aspect to look at. 55% of sellers don't believe that they have to pay the buyer's agent half of the commission at all. However, when you ask that same group, when they turn around and buy a home, are they ready to pay the commission? The answer is no.
No.
And so, like, it's one of those where no one wants to pay commission. Like I kind of get it, right? I mean, I understand that no one's like, yay. But on the other hand, like this is cost of doing business.
Correct.
And we as in the real estate community have to be honest with our sellers, especially about, listen, if you're not going to offer a buyer's co-op, which legally you can in Georgia, you don't have to
You don't
offer a
have
buyer's
to.
co-op. But if you don't, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your values. It's going to hurt how quickly we can sell the property. So it's not a win-win scenario
And
for
it
you. It's a
become
painful
well,
scenario for you.
also if you think about it, it'll start the transaction a little rough because the buyer's agent is going to ask for a commission on the buyer's behalf for the benefit of the buyers.
Yeah.
So, by a but now what I find interesting, the seller will actually reduce the sell price than pay a commission. So by the time you reduce the sell price, you might as well ask just pay the commission and
Sell
let
your
us
home
sell it.
faster. Yeah.
And so, two-edged sword. So I think bottom line, it all comes down to education.
It really does. And the other thing is we have to be the one that controls this narrative. We have to be ready to have an adult conversation about this.
Mhm.
In past years, things were taken for granted about when it came to buyer agent co-op and just working with a buyer, it'd just be like, yeah, this whatever the seller pays. That's not the case anymore. And so you have to have a signed buyer brokerage agreement in place before you're ready to even negotiate about commission rates with a seller because it has to be
Because
done to the benefit of the seller.
buyer.
Buyer, I'm sorry,
So
buyer.
if you think about it, if you don't have signed buyer brokerage agreement, then what gives you the right to negotiate that commission?
In the interest of the buyer, though.
Correct.
Right. All right, let's move on here. So now this was very interesting to me. So Zillow came out with a full analysis of um the top home shopper search terms, meaning, Zillow, one of the biggest data platforms out there.
Mhm.
They said these are the top 10 search terms. When people go in and look for homes, what's the ones that they look for most often? And so this is them, and not necessarily in order. This is just the top 10. And so first one's garage. Nobody likes to park on the street, so garages are a big deal.
Well, it's for females, so that's a lot of safety.
Yep. Backyard, especially because pets have become such a bigger
Mhm.
piece in there. Fireplace, and even wood burning fireplace is a big deal. Walk-in closets. Everybody loves a walk-in closet on there. Patio, that kind of ties in with the backyard, especially here in the South. Like it can be 1,000,000 degrees outside. We're gonna sit outside and on that patio if we can. And like next week when it's getting real cold, there's gonna be some folks out there on a fire pit on their patio.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Open floor plans are still incredibly popular. However, a lot of our sellers, I mean, all of our clients don't know how to decorate for them, and they also don't understand the difference in trying to have a Zoom room when you have an open floor plan is really tricky on there. Family rooms, just it really comes down to space, like how spacious it is. Basements, again, space, and then still the big dog in the kitchen, granite.
Granite
Granite
countertop.
still
You're looking
matters.
at solid surface, and he forgot the pool.
Oh, I
So
totally skipped
because
over pool.
because it's quite cold right now, you don't think about pool,
Yeah,
but
that's
pool
true.
is it's amazing how much the price of the pool has gone up. Since
Yeah.
pandemic. So the average pool is 100 grand easily. That's a starter pool.
Yep. All right, we want to share with you. So the National Association of Realtors has a new tool out where it shares the county median average home prices for every county in the United States. And so I went in and pulled up the ones just kind of in our general
Near us,
region.
yes.
And this is an important tool for us to be able to utilize. So like Henry County, 30, basically 310. But if you go to the next county over in Clayton, it's 234.50. Rockdale's 288, DeKalb's 369. If you go look at Coweta, it's 377.
Fayette County, which is one had the best school in the South Side, is 452,000.
Right. And one of the reasons why I bring this up is if you're looking at your business and saying, I'd like to increase my average commission earned. Well, look at what county you're operating in. Look at the
Sure.
space where you should like I can sell one home in Clayton County or I can sell one home in Fayette County, and I'm gonna net out almost double what I would for the same amount of work. That doesn't mean that Clayton County is not important. Please don't, I'm not trying to knock
No,
that
but this is
because
just
there's
give
something
you a
said for volume
gauge.
too.
Yeah, there's just a gauge for volume, dollar volume versus unit.
Well, and also just being realistic about what are the average prices in your county running. Now, these are based on FHA, so but these are the average counties from the National Association. So just go and Google if you want to check out what your individual county is, kind of thing. It's really neat to kind of pull that up, and that's good information you should really have.
Absolutely. Special for listing. At
Yeah.
least you know what your county is running.
Now, the other thing that's part of this tool is affordability. Like you can go in and put in the affordable and put in your state and put in your county, and they're going to tell you what a median priced home value is, and then what that does based on your payment this year versus a year earlier, kind of thing.
And it talks about what your average base price for a selling a home value and versus what was a year ago versus this year. So you can see a $330 worth of difference, which is substantial for a lot of folks.
For most families, that's a
Mhm.
pretty sizable chunk, and that's why we're really glad to kind of see The mortgage rate's dropping. Now, I don't know if somebody at the mortgage rate market survey thought it was funny to put the sign of the devil as our weekly mortgage rate. So I don't know, 666. But we've basically been flat for the last 3 weeks. And this is kind of what we've been expecting is just sort of some fluctuations and as we continue to trend down. And we do feel like we're going to be trending down. We'll probably in the low sixes to right at 6% by the end of the year. But this is not going to be like we had 9 weeks of very steady drops. I don't see that. We're not going to keep going that way, right? It's going to level off, then it's going to drop a little bit more. It's going to level off, it's going to drop a little bit more.
Yep.
Now, the good news is that, we're not in the real estate world, who's feeling that? Our buyers and our sellers are. Consumers are more optimistic that mortgage rates will go down. So in the recent survey, they said you can see that the percentage of just regular buyers and sellers feeling that the rates are going to go down over the next 12 months, that has dropped significantly or increased significantly. Yeah. More people think it'll go down. All right.
Yes.
Now the good news out of that is mortgage applications are up by 10% from just a week before.
That is great.
And they were up 6.5% the week before that. And they were up 5% the week before that. So please don't think that like if your business is slow, it's you. Okay. We're seeing a real uptick in volume and business and transactions, things going on here right now. Overall, the home purchase sentiment index, which has been going down for a number of years, kind of thing, is trending up. Okay. And it's all tied to interest rates. When interest rates go down, home purchase sentiment goes up. And so
Correct.
It's tied in together really good. Now, the other nice thing happening with interest rates coming down is look at what's happening to active listings. So active listings are now up 4.5, almost 5% over last year. So being up 5%, that's something where we need that inventory. We need more homes to sell.
And this is on a national basis.
You can see how we were compared to past years. We're still historically really, really low. We need more inventory. Now, the nice part here is that new inventory, overall total inventory is up about 5%. New inventory is up about 9%. So that's what's fueling it. We have more homes coming on the market. This is a really good time to be looking at buying right now.
The seller kind of held on for a little bit just because the interest rate was so high. They knew that for them to sell and turn around and buy, it was not a good thing for them.
Well, the other thing that's happening, which Ming and I are so glad, we track these numbers every single week. And so right now, for the first time in about a year,
we have a positive.
Pending listings are up over last year. Now, I can't be like, oh, look how much they're up. But hey, they're up. That's the bottom line is that pending sales are up. And that is such good news. Now, at the same time, we're still seeing where property value appreciation is running really, really strong. They came out and kind of looking at right now, we're running about 5.2%. They're looking at for the nation to be up about 2.5% year over year for the entire nation.
And this percentage may change depending where you're located. So just understand this is overall trend for the nation.
Yep. Now, you can see that the areas that are in the darkest red, those are the ones that have had the highest percentage of change in property value appreciation, which has been very good for our sellers. And it's even good news for our buyers because no one wants to buy a home in an area where the property values are going down. Now, one thing that did come out from this, though, is that Atlanta is now listed as one of the top markets at risk of a home price decline. And when you say, well, I don't see a lot of signs of it, here's why they're pulling that data. Because last year nationally, property values rose, but they rose very modestly. Matter of fact, there for a few months, several areas of the U.S. had negative. Georgia never did. Georgia stayed positive, and actually, we had one of the highest property value appreciation rates in the United States. And so, anytime that you are your prices are going up, well, guess what? then that's what puts you on. Now, do I know that or do I feel like we're going to be seeing a property value decline? No, but it is something for us to keep an eye on. If we see prices continue to escalate higher than the national average, at some point we are going to form a bubble.
Correct.
And so, we're looking at prices being, somewhere in that 3 to 4% property value appreciation range this next year. A lot of that's tied to inventory and interest rates, right? Like whatever happens with whether if we end up with more inventory than we have buyers, prices are going to go down. If we end up with interest rates coming down, that's going to put a lot more buyers in the market. So really, we have quite a few unknowns, but we can show that historically and even our current trends show that property values here in Georgia are holding really, really steady, almost too steady,
Absolutely.
but still holding really, really steady.
So, this is a prediction, not necessarily reality.
Right.
So it depends on what the flow of demands and also inventory. If all the sellers decide to put their house on the market, yes. Will we see a little decline? Absolutely, because there's overflow inventory. But if the inventory are steady and it's not outrageous, and plus the interest rate is cooperating, then we
We're in
wouldn't have
good
an
shape.
issue.
You can notice that we're in here with all of Florida, and Florida had such high property value appreciation last year as well. All right, changing gears to why are we growing? Well, a lot of that is because there's more people moving into Georgia than moving out of Georgia. We have a very positive net flow. And so you can
Correct.
see that the states that are in red, that's where people are leaving. The states in
And
blue, pink, no, red. Red, they're leaving. Pink, they're leaving more, I guess. Sorry, my bad. Pink and red, bad. Blue, good.
Good.
Let's just go on the easy one right there. Now,
Oh,
for Georgia, in the last year kind of thing, we had a net migration, meaning overall 74,520 people
that
more.
moved in.
That's our net migration, meaning
Mhm.
we had people move out, but we had a lot more move in. And you can see that
74,000 of them.
yeah, yeah. Right now, Georgia is in the top 10 on states with the highest inbound rates. You can also see who's the states that are losing the most folks, New York, California, New Jersey, Illinois, that kind of thing. Now, why are they moving to Georgia? They're moving here for two things: jobs
And
and affordability.
affordability. We're still cheaper than most states.
Yeah. And so like the number one state where more people move to Georgia from, New York. So if you can set up any kind of referral business going back and forth in there, that's the place to do it. Excuse me. All right. So NAR just did a survey talking about technology in real estate.
Mhm.
And so first thing was they said, hey, what's your average spend on lead generation? And I was
Shocked.
a little bit, yeah, because 20% said it wasn't even NA. They didn't do anything with lead generation. Another 25% said they spend less than $50. Another 20% spend between 50 and 250. You can see that really when it gets into that, that $400 or $500 range, it ends up being about a third of realtors that end up having some lead gen spend. Guess who are the third who are doing business, right? So you got to look at what are you putting into your business. If all you're expecting to do is not get anything out of you have to either be investing time or treasure. And so I'm not saying that you have to go out and spend big bucks on lead generation, but you have to work at it.
Correct. And it's equity sweat.
Yeah.
So it is a lot more human resource on that part.
Yeah. Now, what social media networks are most being used? 92% of agents are on Facebook. 68 are on Instagram, half are on LinkedIn, but only a quarter are on YouTube. YouTube's huge. I mean, you're missing out on some really big opportunities on YouTube. Obviously,
That's where
we're on here right now, right?
Listen, my kids and my dad, they will go on YouTube and find out how to fix stuff.
Yeah. Well,
If not, find out how to build stuff.
on YouTube Shorts, but like you do want to look at what social networks are you using and which ones make sense for your
Correct.
business,
And
right?
it's funny that I remember my children tell me Facebook is for old people, but you know what? That's
Actually,
also where its
Facebook's
buyers
yeah,
are.
Facebook's growing in the millennial space,
Yep.
and only 2/3 of
I think
agents are on
part of it,
Instagram.
I think part of because we make our kids use it because that's how my kids gonna find out about what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe. All right. So, what are the main reasons for social media use in real estate? the vast majority use it just to promote their listings.
Mhm.
And however, 67% on building, maintaining relationship with existing clients. I think it's about both, right? Like if all you're doing is putting listings out there. I see so many folks that just share listing,
Yeah.
share listing, and there's no personal contact out there. Like especially when it comes to things like YouTube. If all you're doing is sharing your listings on YouTube, you're wasting your time. Not to be mean about it. I mean, it's not hurting anything, but no one's going to be like, oh man, they have the best property listings. No one's going to
Mhm.
look at you for video on that way. So, using social media, it is about creating relationships. And that's where the real power comes from. Yes, we can use it to help promote our listings, and we should, but understand it's about building relationships. It's always going to be about relationships. Now, what are our most impactful tools? E-signature, lock boxes, cloud storage, and then CRM comes in after that. Video conferencing.
Has taken a hike, I mean, in popularity.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, especially during COVID time, because the other side would like to know what you look like, how to react, and help, what is your mannerism.
Yeah. But after transaction management, what I found very interesting was that social media was this low on the survey. Like there's so many agents that are not really utilizing social media to actually grow their business. They're using social media, and previously when they said, which social media do you use? I know so many folks that only use social media just to like show pictures of the kids and what
Mhm.
they had for dinner, and it's not being used to build any sort of business or business relationships in there. So look at taking advantage of that when you can. All right. Let's look at new construction. And so what you see in here, this is what's happened with new construction levels for the past number of years. And you can see that we are glad to see new construction is ramping up. And new construction, especially in the Georgia area, has been going really, really good. We're one of the top states. So I was really surprised when there's a new survey that came out and it went over the top 10 metros in 2024 for newly built homes. And guess what they didn't show? Georgia or Atlanta
Georgia,
is
no?
not in there. And really what it comes down to, please don't think that we don't have a lot of new construction. We have a ton of new construction.
Well, in this one, it actually kind of pinpoint affordability.
Well, but it's
So,
really showing metros. And so what you look at is if you look at so this is where housing units are growing. And what you'll see around all around Atlanta is
it's darker blue.
there's like a circle of blue where we're going outside. I mean, we don't have natural borders like a lot of other places do.
Hmm.
We are the epitome of sprawl. The fact that you can have Locust Grove and Cumming in the same market area makes no sense, right? We will just keep moving out.
Well,
And
one
so
funny thing
it's
that
out. So we have a ton of new construction. It's just out. It's not in Atlanta necessarily.
And one thing I find interesting was a comment that my daughter made. She's into architecture. And she mentioned that Atlanta, from major metropolitan city, is considered city enforced.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was
because we
interesting.
will spread out,
Where we got more greenery than most your metro
which I'm
area.
thankful for.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Now this week, tomorrow, my bride here is going to be teaching 2024 GAR
Please
contract
come and
changes
join me.
in the McDonough office. And then on Wednesday at our airport office, exact same class, only this one's going to be taught by Martin,
Martin.
the marvelous Martin. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be over in West Georgia teaching our new agent boot camp. Now, note this is a 6-hour CE
It's a
class.
long, you camp out.
Yeah, you're gonna be there a while. So
Boot camp out.
all our CE classes are free. Please, jump in, join us. We hope that you will. So hope you guys have a great week. If we can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.
All right,
Happy
bye.
Monday.
Bye-bye.
Take care.